Welcome to the Love That For Us podcast.
Come hang out with us as we explore a holistic approach to entrepreneurship, wellness, and navigating relationships in adulthood.
We'll be getting vulnerable about life and dishing the business expertise we've learned along the way, interviewing industry professionals,
All while you get your weekly dose of girl talk and heart-to-hearts. We're your hosts, Carissa Emiko,
and Ashton Brooke.
and this is the Love That For Us podcast. Okay, we can't start again. Not us getting camera shy the second the episode starts.
What do you
hello,
think of my
everybody.
new color?
Oh, you're blue. I love your blue. I'm not wearing my new color, but actually my new color is not red, but like I'm incorporating red. But I feel like your new color is blue. Like,
I'm being obnoxious about it, but yeah.
no, you're not. Don't say
Oh,
that.
thanks. I don't
I,
know.
like,
I
really-
was so anti-blue, but now it's like, well,
What would you
The shoe
say
fits.
that shade of blue is that you're wearing? Because I can't quite place it. What I want to say is it's cerulean, which is what the Devil Wears Prada, like, you know what you know that scene where she's like those belts look the same to me or whatever, and she's talking about how her sweater was picked by a room of people, like, you know, the iconic Devil
No.
Wears Prada scene. Are you serious?
sorry.
And she's like, cerulean blue, blah, blah, blah. And we released it in this collection and you picked it out of a warehouse box. But really, it was picked for you by the people in this room. Okay.
Sorry.
Whoa. I'm unsure.
I know that
how
movie, but I don't know.
Okay,
I'm not
well,
good with
gonna-
like quotes and stuff.
It's not a quote. It's an iconic scene. But I'll send it to you later. and I think you're
I let you down. I
your
think it's a
shirt
dusky
color.
blue. Like,
a dusky blue.
yeah, you know, when the like sun's going down, but there's still a lot of pigment in the sky.
Wait, I think hilariously, it could be cerulean blue, which is like from the Devil Wears Prada. Look at.
Show me. I think you're right.
I don't know if the camera's I don't know if like the color's coming through on the camera, but
yeah, I think cerulean blue is my color.
it is a dusky blue. It's not like a bold
Mhm.
electric blue. It's
No.
almost like a cousin of a periwinkle. Like that's kind of the
Oh.
vibe. Like there's a little purpley tone in it, a tiny bit. Anywho, looks great on you.
Nice.
Makes your face and your hair and your eyes pop.
Thanks so much. Love that for me. Let's dive in. You know, we have a lot to
Yeah.
talk about.
So today we're talking about being recovering non-toxic perfectionist girlies,
Mhm.
which is funny because we're both very still like holistic, non-toxic,
Mhm.
care about all that stuff. But like we're specifically talking about, I feel like when you get introduced to the world of like, oh my God, every woman puts 300 toxic chemicals on her face average a day, and our food sucks, and Europe makes a different bag of Cheetos than they do in America because
Right.
America lets you have red at number 40, and you like open yourself up to this whole world. It becomes really overwhelming, and you feel like everywhere I turn is a toxin and I need to fix everything in
Mhm.
my life, and it just becomes like super overwhelming.
And you drink
And
from
the
a fire hydrant.
Yes, and the pendulum like swings and you're like, I'm an extreme like non-toxic person, and it's overwhelming. So,
Mhm.
okay, when did the non-toxic life start for you? Actually, Ashton, I have the funniest vivid memory in my mind.
I know
Do you know
exactly
what
what
I'm
you're
gonna
going to
say?
say.
When you were using the dry shampoo
Dry
at my grandma's
shampoo.
house? Yes. Yeah. Okay, wait. I feel like I should start when non-toxic started
start.
for me, because yours kind of trickled in after that. Okay, so first I will say I was raised in a more health conscious home on average, I believe, like when
I
it
think
comes
you
to
were.
especially food and medicine. Like we used essential oils specifically when we were sick. So like my aunt, shout out Auntie Sue, my aunt owns a health food store and she's like super natural, holistic, and she's always kind of helped my mom and taught my mom stuff, whatever. So that when it comes to like food and some medicine, I knew homeopathy and like healthier food options since childhood. When it comes to like toxins, and maybe being really, really like seed oils and all the other ingredient label things you can read, that I feel like I started learning more in adulthood. And honestly, it was when I like took a full deep dive into the network marketing industry with our last company, Young Living, when I really started learning about all of the everything that can destroy your body with
Mm-hmm.
chemicals and stuff like that. Um, and I would say that's when I started to become kind of like obsessed and fearful, to be honest, like
Mm-hmm.
fearful of like one ingredient that could be in something. Um, yeah. Okay. What about you? The dry shampoo day.
Similarly, when like I started paying attention to that stuff on Instagram, got into essential oils. I didn't grow up like you did. We popped most medicines and just I had no concept of this stuff at all. And um so it was definitely like the influence of other people around me that went before me in this world, and then just the beauty, the wonderful curse and blessing of the internet that educated me past the point that I probably needed some of it. But yeah, I think it was 2018, 2019. I started to be like, wait, what? This actually matters and I need to pay
Yeah.
attention. Um, that's really when I took it into my own hands. Like, I think I was aware of it sooner than that, but I actually implemented it into my life similar around the time frame that you did. And it was a slow roll for me for about a year or so, but I remember coming to stay with you and we were like getting ready and I grabbed my dry shampoo that was just like any other brand. And you were like, Ashton, don't spray that near me. Like, I don't want to breathe in those toxins. And I was like,
No,
are you kidding?
you were like looking at me like I was insane, and you were literally like, this isn't toxic. And I was like, okay, well now, like I was like, that is toxic. And you like
It was probably like
legit.
not my mother's. Like, to me, I was greenwashed that was like a
Yes,
clean
to you,
one.
you were like, no, this is like a cleaner and more natural one. And I like looked at the ingredients and I kind of like knew of all the ingredients. I was like, no, like this is toxic. And I want to say like 6 months later, we had like a follow up conversation about it. And you were like, that dry
We
shampoo is
did?
so toxic. Yeah. Because it was
Funny.
kind of like a funny, we weren't like actually mad at each other, but it was like a little tiff. Like I was like, like I don't want to breathe that in. And you were like, this is like not a big deal. Like this is
I was
not
like, really?
natural. Yeah.
That's
And
funny. I do vividly remember that, which was 2018, I believe.
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. And then I think just fertility being the very next
Yeah.
big landmark for me of caring so much about what I not only put on my skin and my hair and products like that, but like food, that honestly was like 10x product stuff for me. Starting to care about food,
Yeah.
researching, listening, buying courses from people in the nutrition space. And I think that was unfortunately where things took a negative turn for me in the sense of like how I was able to process and the way that my body held a lot of that as stress instead of like
Yeah.
empowered information and like,
Right.
information is knowledge. Like, it just became really highly overwhelming and more stuff was being, I think, revealed and uncovered. And people were like, even a lot of companies had lawsuits coming out that's just, it became like, do you remember, like, I just feel like a ton of lawsuits came out for like baby companies um
Yeah.
and stuff that I was just like,
Like
this is,
asbestos being in baby powder. And I
yeah,
mean, the world is in general moving more towards understanding ingredients labels and stuff like that. Like I was just seeing that there are actually certain states in America that are going to ban different food dyes and stuff like that, which is
yeah,
like because they're
cute,
realizing they're
freaking
cancer
finally,
causing, like
yeah.
carcinogenic ingredients that are in everyday, unfortunately for some people, everyday products that they eat or put on themselves, whatever. Like I do see people waking up to that. Also, maybe it's just like the circles that we're in, where that we see a lot more of that information. But no, I would say since I started my own like non-toxic journey to now, more people around me are more aware of it now than they were back then. Like it is,
Yeah.
it's becoming more prevalent in the awareness arena. But
Yeah.
but yeah, like for you, like talk about what was your journey in figuring out like that the stress was potentially more harmful than the thing you were trying to avoid itself. Like, can you talk about that?
Yeah. And I'm sure I was just talking to my friend, shout out Jess, this weekend about it, because regardless of it being specifically fertility for me, I know this happens to people when they have kids and they care about what their kids are eating,
Right.
and like they go off to school and they can't control what they eat at school or in public places. And so obviously I'm speaking from the place of fertility. And I shared this a little bit in our fertility episode where like I was on a lot of supplements through my naturopath and it just became like a lot. That was the same time I was just like caring about so much of the stuff for a good reason. Like I don't blame myself at all for caring. I'm very thankful for the way that this has taken me on a journey, because I think this is an important lesson to learn, that the way that our bodies carry this, our brain, our mind, our body, like we are carrying this load of stress around this topic. And I just completely lost control of balancing my approach, because I would like travel and I would be like a crazy person packing every freaking thing I could that
Yeah.
would like keep me from having to use something in public that I wouldn't align with or like I knew was bad. I mean, I don't think this is crazy that I do this, but just as a simple example, like I would way rather pull out my own hand sanitizer than use like soap in a bathroom, in a
Oh,
public
me
bathroom, because I'm
every
like, that's
time.
disgusting.
I never wash my hands. In fact, I literally if I'm in a bathroom with other people, I pretend wash my hands, but I don't use soap. And then I put hand sanitizer on because I don't want people to just,
No,
which is so
that's
dumb. I'm
so real.
never going to see these people again. But like,
I know.
I can't imagine just walking out of the stall and just walking straight
No,
out and
I will
people
put
being
my
like,
hand sanitizer on in front of
oh, yeah, yeah.
them so
I've
they
done that too.
know.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not disgusting. I'm just not using that crap soap that has fragrance and who knows what else. So I think that is a slightly more relatable experience, but just the stuff I would pack and the things I would care about and think about,
Right.
especially with food, it is hard to release control when you know for a fact you're eating in a place where nothing is organic, everything's fried in seed oils. All the sauce includes seed oils, and there's just, it's like the cheapest form of white flour in the bread, and I'm just like, this
Right.
is so unfortunate. So I don't even remember exactly when I feel like I kind of shifted back, but I remember just being like, I'm in an unhealthy place with caring about this, that I'm not even able to enjoy my travel experiences or like going out to eat. Like I'm just
Right.
not present. I think when you realize you're really not present a lot of the time is a good red flag for yourself.
Right. Because I think when we have any type of fear around toxins, whether that's for you was so focused on like your fertility journey or whatever the fear is like coming from, I think when you start to get to that place where you're not present, it's because you're just trying to control what feels out of
Mm-hmm.
control. Like
Mm-hmm.
the fact that our food is just shitty and why are these products allowed to be sold when these are like endocrine disruptors and
Yeah.
carcinogenic ingredients and you just feel like helpless, then reading ingredients labels, choosing certain restaurants to eat at, packing your supplements with you, whatever, like feels like you can control.
Control. Yeah.
I don't want to say it's like a false sense of control because honestly, you are able to control a lot
Right.
of it, which I think
Right.
is where this conversation we're having today is like you can actually control a lot
Yeah.
of what comes in your home. You can be the gatekeeper of your home
Mm-hmm.
and not allow things inside. And the balance though is what we're talking about today of like, if you are so focused on that 24/7, like you will turn into a crazy person, because we both have turned into crazy people from it.
Mhm.
And like that in itself is just not worth it. You're literally exactly what you said, not being present, not living your life. Your life becomes avoiding toxins. That's
Yeah.
so gnarly. And
Yeah.
so just like how we figure out that balance, because yes, you can control so much of it, but then like when you're trying to control as a response to fear, like
Mhm.
that is when I think your nervous system is shot from it. Like
Yeah.
you're controlling as a response, as opposed to more of a proactive, empowered stance where you feel like good about it and you actually feel more regulated from it in your nervous system, where you're like, oh, I feel great that I get to see these 2 bags of chips and I know which one to pick is healthier for my family, and that feels good. I'm grabbing this
Mhm.
one. Let's go home. Instead of like sitting in Costco and you're just like reading every last, and then like the very last ingredient is like something and you're just like, nope, like, and you just like feel that like rush of
Yeah.
like stress in your body. There's such a difference there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, fear will manifest you to become sick. Like fear literally lowers your
Yeah.
immune system and your immune response. And so that in itself is reason to set an intention to find a balance, release control where you can. And I guess I want to speak to the person that's maybe having a really hard time with that. Like, I see you and I understand you. And it is unfair in general that we just live in a country that's so unbothered and honestly against just our general health and the way that we produce and manufacture. And we live in a sick care system, not a healthcare system. Like, I understand
Yes.
that. And we're up against a very big hill.
Did you
However,
just make that up, or is that like a thing?
the sick care thing,
Because that should be on a sweatshirt or something. That
I
was
don't think I made it
good.
up, but thanks.
We live in a
Um,
sick care system, not a health care system. That's so true.
Mic drop.
Mic drop.
Yeah, it's, you cut me off, so I don't know where I was.
Sorry, I was so distracted by like how good that little quote was.
Um,
Well, you want to know
but
what's unfair to me?
what?
To me personally, that I've been personally victimized by fragrance. Like, here's
Mhm.
the issue. Here's the freaking issue. I'm trying to be somebody that can every now and then handle a little fragrance. I really wish I could be that person.
You are so
Actually.
sensitive to smell.
No, and it's not even it's not even like my choice. Like
I
I
know.
wish I wasn't. Like because what happened was I literally stopped. Like there is not a single product in my home that has fragrance in it. A
A
single product,
natural
because
fragrance.
a natural fragrance, yeah. Because that's what I did. Actually, I bought that Bondi Boost. Does that have fragrance in it? You recommended that heat
Oh, the heat
styling. That
protectant?
might be
I
the
don't think
first
it
thing.
smells.
Oh, well, never mind. Okay, so I like cut out everything with fragrance. And when you cut out a toxin completely from your body, you do become more sensitive to it. There's a word for that and I can't remember what it is, but like it's like if you've done any type of detox ever where you like cut out sugar, cut out
Mhm.
anything,
Alcohol.
when you add it back in, your body's more sensitive to it because your body
Mhm.
has adjusted to now it's been gone.
It's
So
like
then
you're a
when you
lightweight
reintroduce
to
it,
that thing.
yes, exactly. When you get reintroduced, you are more aware of your body's red flag responses that happen to tell you this is toxic, stop it. Well, when you ignore those red flag responses long enough, your body's like, all right, and it literally stops the red flag
Mhm.
responses as
Yeah.
loud or as prominent. So you adjust, your body's adjusting to that. So when you take it out, you add it back in, it's like, no. So ever since I took out fragrance, it's like I'm just trying to freaking find, like, use the Dime perfume. I would love to use a perfume. I tried the
I
Beauty
love
Counter
it.
new perfumes. I can't do it. I'm gonna try Dime again. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it, but like it's like so annoying to me. We were in
Yeah.
Ubers the other night. The second I step into an
Oh,
Uber
Ubers are the worst.
with an air freshener,
Horrible.
instant headache. Like we had to be in the car for 25 minutes with a fully blasted gnarly
How
air
did you
freshener.
survive?
No, I was sick for an hour and a half after. I'm not kidding. We went to dinner and I was like, I don't feel good. Like I literally had a headache. I felt like so it was so gnarly. So
That
I would like
sucks.
to be a little, and I'm like a really sensitive person anyway to like sounds and light and temperature and smells. And so now
It's
that's just on crack.
ADHD.
It's giving all the things. It's like so gnarly. So anyway, it actually makes me angry. I will say, like, I wish I could handle fragrance better. It makes me
No, I know.
pissed
That's fair.
off.
It is
Ugh, anyway,
frustrating. I
I
remember
clearly I needed to vent that out.
this is the place for it. I remember what I was going to say was just like our bodies are so innately designed to heal.
Yeah.
Like if you never gave yourself medication or even like a natural option, like your body is still working to heal itself. And so I think we have to give ourselves more credit, give our bodies more credit. Like this is how they're designed. And if we don't have control, like it knows what to do. It knows how to send like toxins through your liver. And then ideally you're pooping your toxins out and like staying in this balance where things find as much harmony and I can't find the word. What's the
Oh,
What's
it's
the balance word?
equilibrium.
Thank you. The
Equilibrium.
equilibrium. Like there are systems in place for this. It's like God
Yeah.
knew we would need it.
Yeah.
So we just can't discount that. And that is where I have found more balance. I mean, even I think in the last 2 to 3 years, I'm just like, I'm tired of buying from this one company where I bought everything from. And it's like, I want to try other things. And thank goodness there's like a huge push for clean ingredients.
Right.
And so, like, even in makeup, like, I'm enjoying trying new
I
things.
know.
Like,
I
cause
know.
I like buying that stuff. I'm a product girl. I love trying
I
stuff.
know. We're
And
like, okay, Sephora's like clean brand is like not perfectly clean. Like,
right.
but
You
I'm
still have
like,
to be aware.
right. Like that's also some form of greenwashing is there's actually
Mhm.
still allowed to be fragrance in their clean, which is like so funny. So even when I look at like I'll filter Sephora's makeup products or whatever to like the clean, I still read the entire list of
Yeah.
ingredients. But I now, like before, I would have been like, you can't shop at Sephora, even the clean brand, like even the clean line, it's not okay. They're greenwashing you. And now I'm like, it's okay. Like, it's
Yeah.
okay if I have a little bit of something with like one bad ingredient and the rest
And
are
it's at
good.
the
Like,
bottom of the list. It's not the
it's
first listed
okay.
ingredient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to be like perfect about it.
Yeah. And that's a great example. Like, we're just finding more enjoyment in the balance.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I would say I'm much more balanced in my approach to products. Food is always something that I have to like mentally battle. That is my cross to bear right now. And it's like, I
Yeah.
have to follow the 80-20 rule. Like what I bring into my home, I feel so good about. I have trained Will to go grocery shopping and care about everything I care about, which is honestly such a huge gift to me. He's not perfect, but honestly, also him not being 100%
Is
perfect in what we bring in is what I need.
healthy for you guys.
Yes.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
wouldn't
He's
be
like,
great if
babe,
he was just as obsessed with you as you were about it.
and he's the chef in our house. And he'll be like, I'm sorry, but like the crunchy mayonnaise is not as good as regular mayonnaise. And I just want my sauce to be like the best. So like sometimes I let him buy the nasty mayonnaise that the first ingredient's canola oil. And I'm like, okay,
Wait,
whatever. Oh,
I'm
you
gonna
make your
teach
own.
Will.
I know.
I'm gonna
He knows
teach
how to
Will how to
make
make.
it. No, he knows how to
But
make
no,
mayonnaise.
no. Listen, there's This is such a tangent. I don't care. I used to make it in the food processor. We use what's that thing? The soup.
I
What's
know.
that?
Yeah. The blender, handheld blender
It
thing.
it takes a minute, and it is the
I
best
know.
mayonnaise you will ever. It's the best mayonnaise you will ever eat in your entire life, and it takes a
Please
literal
just
minute.
inspire him because
I've been meaning to make a reel about how to make that mayonnaise actually
you
because
should.
my DMs have never
I'm
been more blown
tagging.
up than when I posted that in my stories. No, literally the best mayonnaise you'll ever. And it's things like that. Like we have our little things in our home where like
Mm-hmm.
literally we don't buy mayonnaise anymore. We don't buy mayonnaise. I make mayonnaise, and then when Tyler cooks, almost every sauce you can make has like a
I
mayonnaise
know.
base, and so then we just use the mayonnaise that I make. There's like a lot of things like that where we're just like have our little things where we're like, okay, this feels good to like make this myself and not,
It does.
you know?
And that's like a skill that I think our generation needs to branch out in. Like we need to look around where we can make our own stuff and be more resourceful. It will develop something in you that I found I found pride in. It's
Yeah.
like we've kind of missed out on some of these, ancient traditions, not to be that girl, but it's like that's fun
No. And
to
like,
learn how to make bread. You can
right.
do it, and you can bring in the best unbleached organic flour or make sourdough and feel good about that, or learn how to make butter from like, cream. Like that's just stuff that does feel good. And back to the 80-20 rule, like I know what we bring in our home is really good quality. We personally just invest a lot into that stuff because that's kind of just where we stand on it. And then when I go to my local Mexican restaurant, I'm going to eat the chips that are fried in canola oil and vegetable oil, and I'm going to eat their guacamole, and I'm just going to enjoy myself. Like I
Right.
have
That's your
to
20
release.
because you're like, I know I do the rest 80. Like,
And we
yeah.
don't eat out that often. And so it truly maintains to be a 20%, even if it's 30, like one week. Like who freaking cares? Like live your life, enjoy it, like go be with people and be present with them versus stressing out. And you know what I do? I take my little digestive enzymes so nothing hurts my
Yep.
stomach, and it is a
Yep.
win, and I'm living my best life.
Cute. I love that for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Okay. I quickly want to explain the 80-20 rule. I feel like a lot of people know, but if somebody doesn't know what 80-20 is, it's basically like 80% of the time you're doing like the healthiest you could do, the most whatever, you're picking the better product, you're eating the better food. And then 20% of the time you're just like letting it go. You're just
Mm-hmm.
letting it go because literally it's impossible to be perfect 100% of the time. Unfortunately, we live in a world where you cannot avoid toxins. Like
Mm-mm.
you can't. Even if you were like the most perfect, you never went out to eat, you blah 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 blah, like you're breathing in toxins in the air, unfortunately,
It's in
still,
our
because
water.
that's right. Like that's the world we live in. And so the 80-20 has been something that's just like freeing.
It's really
It's
freeing.
freeing. It's the acceptance that you can't control it 100% of the time. So then there's no point in being like afraid 100% of the time because you just have to do your best 80% of the time and then let the
Yeah.
rest
And
go.
our bodies are smart. It has its own natural detox. And then I implement other things like sweating more, like hitting the sauna
Mm-hmm.
so that I'm releasing these things. I do castor oil packs, or just like exercise in general. Like it's going to support our body's systems and processes. And so in general, if this is an area that you struggle with and you're finding your fists to be clenched in a approach of
Yeah.
control, like do your best and honestly like feel good about your choices. Like be confident in the things you bring into your home, and then release the rest of it, because it's going to in the end support your nervous system. It'll lower your cortisol. Genuinely, like I know my cortisol is so much lower because I have chosen confidence in the things I can control and surrender in the things I can't, and I feel happier as a person. I feel more go with the flow, and I feel less hesitation in the way that I approach like choices of going out or being with people, eating at other people's homes. Like there just has to be a surrender there, and it takes intentionality, but like it's so worth it because your body will feel this sigh of relief happen.
Yes. So this is your permission slip from a couple recovered non-toxic perfectionist
Mm-hmm.
turned wellness 80-20 girlies to just like let it go. Let some of it
Mhm.
go and still
Yeah.
be the gatekeeper of your home and still feel empowered by the choices you make and still be like informed and educated. But like,
Yeah.
if you feel yourself drinking from a fire hydrant or you're following 30,000 wellness gurus on Instagram who all have a different opinion, so you're stressed when you listen to opposing ones, like unfollow, mute,
Yeah.
take a break. Like, you are the gatekeeper of your home. You know what's best for your body. You know what's best for your family's bodies. And just like follow that. Like follow that and guard your nervous system above all else, because like that is what's going to keep you
Yeah.
the
I think a good
healthiest.
question to ask yourself is, am I operating out of peace when it comes to
Yeah.
this?
Right. Am I operating out of peace or fear?
Because you deserve to operate out of peace. And if you're not,
Yes.
I think you'll know the answer to that question very quickly. And I'm not saying like I'm constantly operating out of peace. I'm not. But I'm looking to go up and to the right in my operation of peace. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of toxins, we're going to talk about parasites a little bit on our next
Oh,
episode.
yeah. Come back next
Um,
week.
because Ashton officially started her parasite cleanse. I'm going to start mine soon-ish when I get back from a couple trips. And we'll talk about
It's
that because
juicy.
again, we still love the wellness. We still
We
love the
love
whole.
it.
It's not like we're like not doing that. We're
No.
just doing it in a more regulated, non-perfectionisty way now, which feels so much
Yes.
better.
Love that for us.
All right, we
Thank you
love you
guys for listening.
guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.